It's just something that I recognized from when I was younger in this lifetime. I had a very active imagination and so on, and with my awareness, I would close my eyes sometimes in the car or whenever kind of I just get bored, seeing the same stuff. I'd close my eyes because I wanted to see something, and so I'd close my eyes and I'd see all the little light and all the rest of it. But what would always form, was a jungle. And I remember used to imagine myself as like a explorer going through the jungle with my little tool and the rest of it. Well, what was interesting about this scene, and I couldn't recognize it because I didn't have the right information. I didn't have any information really to tell me anything at all about it, but it would always lead back to the same spot. It would always lead back to finding a tiger, and the tiger would be laying there looking at me, and the sun was shining through up on the right hand side, and it would just be shining through the trees on the tiger. And I couldn't recognize it when I was really young, and I used to try different things. I used to try, okay, well, I'm going to take a different route through the jungle, or I'm going to try and sneak up behind the tiger, or I'm going to, I don't know, just little creative things to try and see if I could change it, but it would always lead back to the same spot every time I'd go through that experience. And this kind of just highlights the where we get the references from and how important it is to share, because with the references I can recognize now that it's like a real guide, and the sun shining, that's just the reference to that, the isness, the true reality life is. And seeing that when I was very young kind of makes me see that I was prompted through this, just through certain things. My family that I was born in, my uncle being involved in Eckankar, knowing very young about Paul and certain things. So being here and just kind of grateful for that, but also being grateful that I can recognize now the experience where it was like, this probably a real guide, sort of just seeing me, sort of just kind of waiting there, but also the reference with the sun shining.
You mentioned your imagination too. I had imagination too, and I think it's getting, or I see it becoming less and less for people. I just heard about something, Codex Elementalis, I think. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's like it defines nutrients as poisons, and it talks about how anything that we get now, food, water, any food we get is irradiated. Any vegetables, it has to be radiated, and this other process, I forget what they said, but it has to go through a process because it's considered a poison, so it has to be treated. So, of course, our water is, got fluoride, a lot of the city waters, everything is poisoned, polluted, and meant to dumb down the imagination and the thought processes we're going through. So it's part of their agenda. So that's where I found this to be when I heard, oh, anything's possible, and it's really, really possible, then that set me off here on this journey. Anything's possible. Well, if I can imagine it, that's a start, and that's gets you started on a bigger journey to multidimensional creation, and then the isness. It's just cool the way it's you can find your way through all this, But yeah, using your imagination, Jeremy, and as a guide, a reference. It's not reality, but at least it's a reference, your imagination, to see more.
It was last night. It was a dead quick one as well. I was driving a car. It was like that. It was an old-fashioned car, like what the Harry Potter one, where Harry Potter's flying in it, and his mate, and then he crashed into the tree. But I was on my own at first, and then I wasn't, and then you was in the back, and Val was in the back, and I'm pretty sure it was Jeremy was sat next to me, but it was a right-hand drive car, like the English car's a right-hand drive. It was right-hand drive, and we was all wearing blue. We all had blue suits on, and Val says, "Yeah, we're going to see Duane at the university," and it was like a rainbow road, because we was somewhere in a city somewhere when we was driving, and then when I realised all of you lot was in the car, and then when I realised you lot was in the car, we was on like a rainbow road, up in space, and the next thing, yeah, we was at this big building. I've not seen one before. I think it was one of the universities. I've heard about them. I've heard Kevin speak about them, but I even heard about the universities before I found the new presentation. There was universities up there, but we went to a university. Val, me, myself, Kevin, and I'm pretty sure it was Jeremy. And we got out, and then Ava was there. I didn't see Duane. That was it. That's all I can remember from the experience. But I can remember seeing Ava, and we was all going up like the steps into university, and that's how it ended.
And Vesna, you just came back from the nature. You have any experiences to share?
Yes, actually. We went to those Bosnian pyramids again. So Bosnian pyramids are obviously in Bosnia, yes. But not so much for the pyramids, but for being in nature, because there are endless woods and rivers, and they didn't have chemtrails so far, but 2 days ago we saw a lot of chemtrails. And what struck me was that just like with orgonites, like people say that they use orgonites for clearing the energies, all those Wi-Fi chemtrails and the other shit. So the Bosnian pyramids, in my idea, being the energy machines, were supposed to clear the sky above, and yet 2 days ago we saw a lot of chemtrails, and all these wonderful natural sceneries around were in kind of thin fog. So I guess something happened. That's my impression, which turns off those old energy machines and allows all those poison to be spread around. So this is that trip through Bosnia is interesting, because I have never seen so many forests with different woods, and all of them are healthy. I discussed with Eva, just like her woods are around her home are dying, but these woods are all healthy. I saw like 5 trees at one point which were dead, but otherwise they were all healthy. Nobody wears masks and things like that. So all that oxygen and everything helps us survive here in the cities for a little bit longer, in creation anyway. And somehow I discover again the sense of being grateful for everything, actually, for the opportunity to be in not spoiled nature and all those wild geese and wild ducks which were all around, and squirrels and foxes and things like that. So, well, you would enjoy anyway, or everybody would enjoy it. So, somehow it was like the temporary escape from this prison planet, like I was on the another planet. And yet, when I spoke to people, I got some strange examples of human functioning. Like I spoke with the girl, and she's who previously tell somebody else, "Why do you wear a mask? No need to wear a mask. Nobody wears it. It's totally safe here," and things like that. And in the next sentence to me, she said that she got the vaccines, and she especially traveled like from Bosnia to Serbia in order to get the vaccine. So it is uh, funny and sad at the same time how people cannot connect the dots and see the obvious. Not to mention that when not knowing anything even about the subtle bodies and consequences of not managing one's subtle bodies, there is no point in trying to tell them that, okay, you are not that body, you're actually a real being, and it's okay, everything is. So, uh, very grateful for the occasion to get away from all this pressure and everything for a few days. And get back to you guys. Thank you.
And yeah, the water, the cleansing, cider vinegar, MMS, oxygen therapy, hydrogen peroxide, etc., to offset these things. And there are other things that people are sharing and showing up. So everybody should investigate for themselves. And yes, let me just say that in the physical sense, you need something for the physical body, just like you do your car. You got to do the oil change, fill it with gas, whatever. Now, the 4 other bodies, yes, and the NuUU does affect the physical body, but mainly in the other bodies too. So you're actually protecting your astral body and others from being tap line on the real side. So it's your physical body that's taking the vaccine. And again, it's up to the individual how they are affected through their other bodies. But as they're doing the NuUU, then they're getting a lot of help and helping themselves to offset that tap lining. So again, just like each one of us, we take a bath every day or once a week or whatever the idea is, we clean ourselves up. And so the body is the same way. So with all this going on, yes, it is a huge challenge. And so again, Val and I were always preparing ourselves down here for what can happen, not taking anything for granted, because 100% they want to get rid of everybody. That's the whole idea. This is their big game. So, you know, you have to deal with it, and there are ways to do it.